Hello once again. This is Professor Miller for the Engineering Graphics course. Hope you all doing good. Beautiful day here today in West Lafayette. Clear. Everything else. What I'm going to talk about right now is going to be the exercise on the vice jaw. Exercise 4.1, and let's just take a look at it. What you're going to do here is you're going to use, I want you to skip the whole part on this extra reference planes, which goes until the bottom of page 121. So I want you to basically create the base feature of the vice jaw on this, the YZ plane. Okay, so you're going to create this sketch, the unconstrained sketch. You're going to put the geometric constraints on it as in this picture here. Oh, a little bit too fast here. Let me slow down here. You're going to add the dimensional constraints here. Moving forward, you will make a pad out of it right here. And then you'll apply mask properties to the mask properties tab, which is shown here. If you don't get the exact mask properties, okay, we just want to give you an example of how you actually set the properties. After you do that, you're going to select this surface in this plane and shell out a 0.25 inch and come up with this particular feature here. You're going to create a couple of reference planes, okay, which are out here and out here, not shown in this step. You're going to start a sketch right in here. Excuse me, you're not going to create the reference planes. You're going to start with a sketch here. Let me go back up. Create the shell feature. Start that plane here. And then you'll end up projecting this feature out here. Get wider. You will then put, cut out the radiuses here and here, which I'll show you a different way of doing that. The resultant geometry is here. And then finally you add this solid feature on here. Put a hole in the back of it, which creates this hole right in here. And then finally you will put, excuse me, a hole right here and pattern hole back over there. So with that said, go back up to the top here, and I'm going to start doing this problem for you. So again, they want you to select the frontal plane. Let's move this out of my way here so you can see it. Okay, so that is the YZ plane, so I'm going to select that as my sketch plane. And again, it's always a good idea to go into this isometric view and just to see where you're at. And I'm going to then go back into the normal view of it, and I'm going to use the profile tool command. Now I'm going to put this thing in such a position that I can actually get it where I want to have it. So again, if I use the profile tool command, then I will come over here and it's going to draw a line here to there, keep it horizontal, snap in, bring it up, dragging it. Got that arc on there, maybe bring it down a little bit, bring this up, bring this over, bring this up, bring this over to about right in here somewhere, drag it, okay, click it, and then finish it off. So there we have now a rough sketch of that outline. So then let's put some geometric constraints on first. Remember, you always want to try to put geometric constraints on first. So I'm going to go from here to here, and I'm going to make that tangent. So now we can maybe adjust the size of this thing a little bit, and then get off there a minute, get back out of the command, you know, drag this over and up. Okay, maybe bring this part over here, and maybe pull this down. So again, you can get the general shape by just moving things around before you actually do any constraining as far as dimensional constraints of the geometry. So I can bring this, you know, it's over here a little bit, and then maybe pull this in a little bit, and maybe pull this in a little bit, and so on. Okay, so you get a general shape of the object. Then what I want you to do here is to then go to figure 4.79, and I want you to put the constraints on exactly as we have. So again, I'm going to put the dimensional constraints on here as far as size. So try to put your size constraints on here. And first I'm going to go from the bottom up to then this point, and then to the bottom, and put that one in. And then I'm going to go from that point here, get on the point there, get over there, and I'm having a hard time with that point, so let's go over here and let's open up my sketch. Let's open up my geometry, and let's find where that point is. And so I grab it off the specification tree, go from that point up to the top here, line those up there, and then go from this line right here. I'm going to change my geometry a little bit because I got it just backwards. Just drag that in a little bit to make it conform to the same shape. So now I'm going to go then from this line here up to that line up here. And again, if I drag these things out and try to line them up, it's just easier for a later time when you refer back to them. Okay, so I'm trying to put in all my base features from bottom towards top. Okay, and I think I have all the size features. So now I'm going to give an overall size of this, that down, and then from this side here all the way to the right side here, head up there, pull this down a little bit, and then we want to go then from right here to right there. Notice the purple means over constrained, but if I bring it up this direction here, I'm fine. Pull that number out so it's easier to see there. The radius over here, and then the radius out here. Okay, so now let's grab this one part of the entity and see if the whole entity moves. Now see the whole entity is moving. That means it's all numerically constrained here. Okay, it is size. So now let's come over here and let's change some of these numbers. Always try with the outside numbers here. So I'm going to go make this one to 2.75. Okay, let's make this one then 2. And make this one 0.75. This one here is 1.5. Make sure that's a diameter now. Oh, that's a radius, I'm sorry. This dimension here then is 2.75. Distance 0.25. This one is then 0.75. Let's see here. Okay. Let me undo that one, make sure I've got this one right. Let's see here. This one should be 1. Let's do that one first so it doesn't invert. Now let's make this one 0.75. Keep the same shape here. And let's make this one 3.5. Now we got the thing size. Should look very familiar to figure 4.79 on page 122. Now let's lock down this location. So again, I'm going to pull this up, open this out, and say, okay, I want to go now, and I want to basically go from this point right here to the origin. Again, I'll make this a horizontal measure, and then from that point, okay, let's go in again, geometry. Let's find where that point resides. Okay, where are you? And it looks to be that point there. To again the origin. See how much easier it is to grab the specification tree. This time we'll make that a vertical measure. And now these values here really don't matter, it's just moving out to the origin. So now the thing is totally green and we're happy. So I'm going to exit out of this particular sketch here, go back in isometric view, and now we want to create a pad out of this feature. So coming over here, okay, I got the feature selected here. Okay, so its value then is 1.5. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, let's figure here. Select the limit, use a formula to set the second limit. So again, let's go in the pad here. And then I want to make this 1.5 for the one direction. Go to more. And then hit equal. and then go back to this 1.5. So it's select a parameter. You got to go off here, select that parameter. Now notice we have that. Hit OK, and we have that actual object constructed at that point. Change my viewing here to this one to get edges on it, so it's a little bit easier to see. Okay, and the pad will be complete as we have here. So let's move onward down. And it should look very much like your figure 4.81. Okay, then in the specification tree, you want to go up here and select the vice jaw. Okay, so I'm going to select the dice ball, vice jaw, and so select properties here, and then we look into properties here, and you go to mass, and it tells you what the mass is here, the density, the volume, then the mass right there. Just looking at that, so remember 4.52. Okay, so then we're looking at that now. Okay, to exit, and then you're going to go down here, and you're going to find the mass properties tab at the bottom. Again, that's shown again on figure 4.82 on page 123. So then locate it, grab it. So I'm locating and grabbing it, and I am again on the vice jaw, and then we want to basically make it go in here. It says apply material, specification metal menu. Okay, so we have the metal and the iron figure. So again, let's go over here and let's find iron, apply material, hit OK, and now if we go back into this vice jaw and we go to the properties, notice that this mass has changed. It may not be exactly the same as what you have or what I have here, but the mass has indeed changed. So now you know how to change the mass properties of an object or a part, a feature, and then basically work from it. But now we're going to go through here. We're actually going to shell out this particular part here. We're going to shell this thing out. So what the shell command does, it removes feature, it removes mass features. So again, the self shell feature, if I can talk, it is on now the address it features, and it's right here. We'll click on the shell feature, and the default thickness is given, but I'm going to change to 0.25, and it's going to say select the faces. I'm going to select this face here and that one there, and then I'm going to say OK, and now we notice here that I didn't select the bottom face. Oops, forgot one, but not a big deal. Just go into here and add another element, hit OK, and now you have that object shelled out. Okay, so there we go. Okay, and we have that. So continuing onward, that should look like, then your model should look something like figure 4.86 on 125. Okay, so then I want to basically go through and I'm going to create some new features here. Okay, and before we do that here, I want to make a change on it here to yours. Okay, I'm going to skip it here. We need to create some default planes of reference from the initial plane here. Okay, so we need to basically create these things here. So I'm looking at step number 37. Okay, right below figure 4.86. And then I'm going to rotate over here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find these, what they're called reference features. We used them once before, but reference features, when we built the pyramid, but reference features are really three-dimensional or 3D construction features that are seen in 3D space and used by multiple 2D features. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this thing a little bit more, and I'm going to then grab this middle plane right here in the object, and I'm going to create a plane, and that plane is going to be offset. In this case, it is going to be offset, I think it's 3 inches if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. So I'm going to say 3 and hit OK. Over here, let's go into here and say 3. Preview. Okay, now let's see here. Is that where I wanted it? I think I grabbed the wrong plane. So I'm going to grab then another plane here. I'm going to grab then this plane over here. So I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to do this one again. And this time I'm going to reverse the direction. And I'm going to grab that plane right in here. I'll hit OK. Now notice that we have plane 1, plane 2, and I'm going to cancel out of here because I really need plane 3. So now you got these 2 planes out here you can use for reference geometry. So again, now I'm going to start on this middle. So again, that is gives you then assign or basically creates these reference features. Now I'm looking at let's see here. I'm looking at number 44, 45, 46, etc. And I'm going to create the feature that is on figure 4.88, figure 126. My sketch plane is going to be over here. It's going to be this frontal plane right here. I'm going to create a sketch. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use existing geometry. Okay, it's off the operations toolbar here. And the command is called project 3D elements. So I'm going to project. Now don't grab the whole surface. You're going to do one at a time. I'm going to grab this element here, that element there, that one there, that one there, that one there, and so on, and then finally that arc. And then I'm going to build a line from this point. Make sure you get the double circle like that, and I'm going to make it horizontal. I'm bringing it out. And I'll notice that line is green, so I want to trim this line back. So I'm going to use the regular trim and keep this, keep that. Okay, now, let's see here. I think I did the wrong one. Let's get in here a little bit closer. Bring that thing back to where it was at. Come on, get out of that command. So now, let's do this again. I really wanted to keep then this line here and that line there. There we go. Now what you have here is a sketch based on existing geometry. So when it's yellow, it's already constrained based on existing solid geometry. I have to put the extra line in there, trim that out, exit back out of the sketch, and now I want to make a pad out of that. And this time the selection is going to be, since I made this reference plane down here, it's going to be up the plane and grab that plane there, and then I'm going to go more. And I'm going to grab then up the plane again. And I'm going to grab this one right here. We'll hit OK. And now you have the part that looks like figure 126, which is figure 4.90. Now what we're going to do is we're going to actually cut out parts of this object to end up what looks to be as in figure 4.96. I'm going to do it different than what is done in the book. And I'm referring to this horizontal plane as my sketch plane. And I'm looking at figure 4.95, but I've learned some things since I've actually done this assignment. And so I'm going to show you a different way to use it that uses a lot of project 3D commands. So my sketch plane wants to be the very top plane of the object. So again, I'm going to my horizontal position. I'm going to grab this plane. I'm going to create a sketch out of that plane. I'm going to put it back, and so now that looks just as if we are in the figure 4.95, just with a two-dimensional jump. So I'm sketching on this plane here. I'm going to change my viewing into shading with hidden edges so I can see through the object. Now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the project 3D command. Do it again. I'll put it up here twice. I'm going to grab then this edge of this plane here, edge of the plane there. Then I'm going to rotate this thing, and I'm going to grab this plane here and this plane here. Now, since I didn't have my command on, I didn't get much there. So let's try this again. I want to grab then this plane right here, that plane there, and then this one right in here. Okay, so let's get back into the orthogonal view. And something doesn't look right here. Okay, let me just double check my feature here. So I'm going to back out of this sketch because something is not looking right to me. And let's just measure this thing. Well, there's a command down here on this toolbar here. It's very handy. It's called the measure. So I can say, well, let's measure something here. And I want to measure then from this plane here all the way over to this plane here, and it gives me a distance of 6 inches, which that's exactly what I want, okay? So I'm going to cancel out of here. And again, something just doesn't look right for my sketch, okay? I'm not sure what it is, but something doesn't look right here. So again, I'm going to come over here and say, well, let's take another measure over here. So I'm going to measure then from this plane here over to this plane right in here, and that gives me 3. Everything seems to be lining up. I must not be looking at things the way I think I should be looking at it here again. Because if I look at that, and I look at my sketch on page, let me see here, go back, on figure 4.95, I'm doing something wrong here. Let me just take a look at what I'm doing wrong here, okay? Let me take this line here. I'm going to escape out. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to delete it. And always fun when you're on the fly here and you don't get something to work the way you want it. But that's just the way it goes. The only way to learn is to struggle. It's still not giving me what I want. Okay, I am going to come back out of here and get this orthogonal view here. Go back into this pad, see where I'm at, double checking myself, that's 1, and okay, going back into this pad here, okay, that's that pad there, up to the plane, what is going on here? So, it's a distance somewhere, this distance does not look right for me. Cancel. Back into the sketch again. And let's see here. Something does not look right. Well, I'm going to go on continue on it here. I'm going to use my sketch command. I'm going to say, well, this time I'm going to black out of this thing, and I'm still going to project this side here, and then this plane right in here. And again, it would help if I turn on my command to do that. So now let's look at the sketch view. Now I'm going to use basically a quick trim, and I'm going to break this projection line in half right here. And then I'm going to use my regular trim. I want to say I want to keep this, keep that, and I want to keep that, and let's see here. Well, that's not, we're just going to trim the whole thing off here. So let's go over here and say, okay, I want to then take this line right here, and I can pull it up. Maybe I can pull it up. Nope. Let's go ahead and trim it out to here. Okay, so I extended it out. Now let's go to the quick break here, or where it says break this thing here. Now let's go back to the regular trim. I want to keep this. And I want to keep that, I want to keep that, and I want to keep that, I want to keep this, and I want to keep that, and I keep working my way around here, to there, to there, to there, to there, to there, to there, to there. Okay, so now if you look at this geometry, everything I have there is based off existing geometry. Now there's a mistake in here somewhere because the distance from here out is not correct, but I'm going to go onward this thing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and continue onward with this because I'll find a mistake later, and then maybe I'll get back with you, and hopefully you won't have the issues that I've had. Then I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to show edges and get rid of the hidden stuff. Now I want to say I'm going to draw a circle out here. I'm going to draw actually 2 circles out here. I'm going to draw one here and then one over here. Now I put it right beside it. Then I want to basically go through, I want to dimension or constrain dimension that one and that one. Okay? And notice these are a radius of 1. I'm going to use these partial cylinders here, so that's a diameter of 2. So that'd be 2. Enter. Ooh. Let's make that a radius of 1, I meant to say. And then make sure you change this to radius. Put an equal sign in here. Make it the same as that one. Hit OK. Now you have these two circles. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this circle. If I get out of the command, that is. I'll drag this circle right up into here. Okay. And I'm going to drag this circle right over. Drag this circle right over here. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up cutting. I'm going to use this as a cutting tool here. Okay. I'm going to use this thing as a cutting tool. So now through constraints, I'm going to say, well, let's make this and that tangent. That and that tangent. Now, if that thing's completely constrained, let's do the same on the other side. This, that, tangent, that, and that tangent. Now, let's save some things here. Okay, let's go through here and let's save some things and get rid of some other things here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to then, I got to think here a minute. Let's take a visual look at this thing. So I'm going to again come over here, drag this back over so you can see it, get a little bit bigger, scroll down a little bit. So what I want to end up with is this cutout. So if I make this thing a solid, like I have here to there with a circle, it'll cut that out, and it'll cut that out. So visualizing that, if I come over here, then I'm going to say, okay, I want to then, let me look at this thing again here. Where am I going wrong? I am confusing myself. I may have to do this one all over. We'll see, okay? So then I'm going to come over here and say, okay, I'm going to trim this, get to this. So I'm going to go into trim, and I'm going to keep this. I'm going to, let's see here. I want to keep this. And I want to keep this. And this is something, again, is not right here. I need somebody in the audience to tell me what's going on, but there's no audience. Something is not right here. Well, let's investigate. Something is not right here. I know it's not right, so let me go back into this initial pad and an initial sketch. And let's see if I have everything done here correctly. Okay, I'm going to go back and check my dimensions. You know, you're going to figure it out wrong, so I'm going back now to my figure. 4.79 on page 122, and I have this as 2, 3.5 to the bottom, 1.75, let's drag this up and over so it's easier to see, 2.75, 0.25, 1.5, 0.75. I don't see anything wrong there. Where is my mistake at? So then let's go to the shell. Well, we know what the shell is here. Let's go into the shell. It's just got this thing here. Let's go into more. There's nothing here. That looks good. Let's go into the plane here and the plane there. Let's go into this pad 2 and sketch 2. And I'm showing everything projected out. So I want it from here. I want this line from there. Let me roll this over. From there over. Exiting out of here. Now let's update this thing. And let's go to sketch 3, which is where I'm at. And something is really, really baffling me here. Okay. Something is not right, and I can't seem to figure out what it is. Because if you look on page, oops, going the wrong way here on mine. If you look on this page, even though I did it different, approximate or proportional sizes, this should be the same. Okay, so what am I doing wrong here? There's a distance right in here that's not correct. Again, let's take a look at this thing and look at it from this view here. There's a distance here that's just not right. I want to back out of this thing again. I want to go into this pad. I'm going to cancel out of here, and I'm going to look at the plane location here. 3 from that one. Okay, maybe this is... Let me make this 1.5 from here. Okay. And it didn't like that. So I'm going to delete this sketch. And pad 2 is there. Let's go to this one here. And let's make that one 1.5 something. Update this thing here. Let's look at it from this one. I might have put in the wrong numbers. Again, the beauty of this thing is you can go back and change things, okay? So let's see if I was able to correct that. Okay, let's go back over here. So now, I'm going to then go to a sketch, and I'm going to go to this top plane here, and let's see here, I want to put these hidden edges on here. Okay, that is shown. Now let's try this again. Still doesn't look right. This is driving me crazier than I already am. Back out of here. Oh, this is crazy, people. It always helps when you get things right, you know. So let's look at this thing here. I'm looking at it. I'm reviewing it. Basically, let me see here. Located enough, right? Interesting. Go to here again. Sketch over here. Project 3D. I'm going to project this out. Project this out here. Let me get this right. Project this over here. Project this to right there. It would really help if I would keep these commands on. Project this. Project that. Project this. And we have that. Now, I'm going to now switch gears here as I try again, and I'm going to then make an offset from this line here to correct this, because again, I'm not sure what's going on, why I'm messing this up, but something is going on here. And I know the distance has to be 1 over, so grab this projection line. Now notice I have this sketch tools here. If it's the right place, I go into here and I go 1 and hit enter. It's going to place that at 1 inch away. Okay. Doing the same thing over here. Now if I just keep the default, okay, and I come over here and I say 1, it will then place 1 in the opposite direction. So you come over here and say, oh, I don't want that to be a -1, I want that to be a 1. It flips to orientation. Okay, now let's come up here. Again, I have to figure this out, but now I want to go through here, and I want to basically erase this middle line. Okay, try to anyways. That one. And then I'm going to come over here and say, okay, let's go to the standard. pull that down here. So I'm going to again go this up to here, and just notice I'm extending these up, extending this up, extending this up. Okay, now if I come over here and say, oh, I want to keep this, keep that, keep that, keep that, keep that, keep that. Okay, let's back out of here, and again, quick trim this line out here, and again back in the regular trim. Keep that, keep that, keep that, keep that, keep that, keep that, etc. Those there to there, there to there. Now we have these two squares here, okay? Now what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to draw a circle. It's a circle right down in here. Now, this is where draw another circle over here. And I'm going to give these circle size this time. I'll do it a different way. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to drag the circle, make it a little bit smaller, and then drag it into this area right over here. And then make this a little bit smaller, and drag it into the area right in here. Now it's up to geometry to control everything. I want this to be tangent to that. I want that to be tangent to that. And then I want this to be tangent with that. Now my circle will be by default 1 inch in radius. We'll repeat the same procedure here. Here to there. Tangency. There to there. Tangency. And there to there. Tangency. Okay, now what you're going to end up doing is you want to then have this cutout right in here. Okay, you want this thing to be cut out in here. And so then we need to do some more trimming in here. Okay, so now I'm going to go through here and do some more trimming of this object. So in this case here, I want to say, okay, I want to have then this feature here. You know what? This is just driving me crazy. Okay, this is driving me crazy here. I'm going to back out of this again because I want this thing to be down here. Okay. That's what I'm doing wrong. Okay. So, escape. Control Z, 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 Z. Go through here and say, oh, look at all that mess. And now we'll look straight on this thing. And this time, haha, I'm going to come over here and say, okay, I want to project then, what I was screwing up on is this surface back here. Looking down on the object. Okay, and I didn't get it once again. Don't you like the way I'm fumbling around here? But again, this fumbling around is kind of the things that you guys experience, okay? What you experience when you're doing this. Because it never comes easy or works exactly as you think. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say I want to delete this off. And I want to delete then this off. Delete that off. Delete that off, okay? And then I'm going to break this center point right in here. Okay? And now let's try this again. I want to come over here this time. And I'm just going to draw a circle in here. See if I can, right there. Put another circle in here. Right there. This time I'm going to get it, doggone it. Now I'm going to give this a radius. Okay, I'm going to make that equal to 1. Okay, and then I'm going to give this a radius here. Make that one equal to this one. Hit OK. Now pull this thing and move it around a little bit. Get out of the command. Just drag it over here a little bit to make it easier. Drag this one over here a little bit to make it easier. And now, and there's different ways you could do this. I've really made this thing a lot harder than what it needs to be. There to there. Tangent. There to there. Tangent. Okay, and then do this thing over here. There to there. Let's do that one again. We'll go from here, there, tangent, and then from here, there, tangent. Okay, so now let's do some trims here. Let's get this thing done again right. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to zoom up on this thing, and I just noticed that I need to put a couple more lines in here, projection lines. So put that one on over there, just one over here, go back into my view here. So now we have this thing, okay? Finally, duh. So now I'm going to come over here and do a bunch of trims. I want to keep this, and I want to keep that. I want to keep that, I want to keep that. Keep that, keep that, make sure it's closed. I want to keep this and keep that. And I want to keep that and keep that. There we have it. Do the same thing on the other side. Keep that. Keep that. Keep that. Keep that. Keep that. Keep that. Everything in shell is constrained by existing geometry. The circle is constrained by the two changes and again by that radius. So again, making it easier to read, I would take that radius down on here and then move it to a location that's a little bit easier to see. Right in there. Get this thing to move on me a little bit. There we go. It's easier to see there. Now let's back out of this thing after I stumbled myself around for a while. So now if you notice, we have these two features here. This time I want to make a cut. In other words, a pocket. Okay, and it says it contains open profiles. So now, problematic area is right here. If you look at that, let's get in the isometric view. It's over there. Go into the sketch. Okay, let's go into this sketch of this one. Get out of here. And look at this sketch here. Let's back out. Go back into the sketch here, and if you zoom up on here, you will probably find an error. You notice I never trimmed that one. Why it's a good idea to go around and trim things. Trim it from there to there. Should close that up if you have the command on. Trimming it from there to there closes that up. Exit back out. Zoom back out. Get in the isometric viewpoint. Now let's try it again. Let's grab the sketch. Let's grab this pocket, and this time let's go up to last, hit OK, and shazam, I finally got it. After stumbling around for quite a while, I finally got it, okay? Got that. Okay, so now, after that, let's go ahead and continue onward, and again, I'm looking at 4.96, I have that. Then what they want you to do is to add a couple of fillets on here. Fillets, basically, are the outside and the rounds are the inside. See, the rounds are outside feature, fillets and inside. So if we look at this, I'm looking at the, change my display here. I'm looking at a fillet that around, or excuse me, a fillet around this area off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that edge, rotate the geometry around, hold my control key down, grab that intersecting edge right there. Okay, now over here it's on the dress up features. Edge fillet, grab that, make it a radius of 1, preview it, and hit OK. And don't worry about, let's see here. Now we have then those fillets put in there. Fillets can be very, very problematic. Okay, they can be very problematic. But again, we have that on here. Now let's go ahead and continue onward. So again, that is figure 4.96 referencing it. Then we're going to add this thing called this support boss out here. Okay, figure 4.98, 4.97 is the construction of it. So let's go over here, and I want to grab this sketch here, or that plane is my sketch. And again, then I'm going to basically use some project geometry methods here. So I know that if I look at my dimension here, I need to project off this bottom plane. Well, let's change that to a construction line for my projection. So again, over here, I'm going to grab the project 3D, and I want to grab this line right in here. Notice it makes that a construction line. Now I'm going to use as an axis line over here to locate things. So my axis line, I'm just going to stick it right over here. Just get it off the feature. Okay, off the object. Now I'm going to say, well, I'm going to grab the point of that line. I'm going to grab this projection line. And if I right click and get the midpoint, now notice it puts that line right on the midpoint. So if this feature gets bigger or wider, that stays in the middle of it. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go out here and I'm going to draw a couple of circles. Well, this time I don't want it to be a construction circle, so I'm just going to draw a circle out here and then draw another circle out here. Okay. So let's constrain these circles as far as size. So let's give this one its size there and give that one its size here. And again, changing these values. The outside one is a diameter of 1.5. The inside one then, excuse me, that's the inside one. The outside one is a diameter of 2. Change that one then to 2. So we have that. So now what we need to do is place these two circles on this axis. So again, let's go from the center point here, and I want that circle to be on that axis, and I want to be coincidental on that axis. Now notice if I grab those circles, they'll move up and down. So now I want to put a dimensional constraint. I want to go from this edge right here to that point. So again, there's times when it's going to help to go in here and look at your geometry and find where that point actually is, which is that point right there. Put that dimensional constraint on there and then make that 1.375, dropping that thing down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to use my offset command. And I'm going to come over here a distance. Okay, and notice that that thing is now green, so it took some kind of automatic constraint. Don't like that. Control Z, get rid of that. Control Z again, Control Z again, get rid of that line. Did not like that at all. So let's go over here. I'm going to do a line this time. Now I'm going to use yeah, I am going to go ahead and use this offset again. I'm going to try this again. So I'm going to go offset. Now I'm just going to use a line. The heck with it. Put a line right over here, horizontal line, and then I'm going to, now notice there's not a dimension given on figure 4.97, so you have to give that bottom a size. So first off is I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to just kind of drag this line, well I'm going to make, excuse me, I'll make this line right here parallel to that axis. And now I'm going to then give a value from the axis to this line right in here. And let's make that maybe 0.25. Let's move it over, okay? Now let's do the same thing again. Let's come over here and let's make another line over here. And let's make that line again parallel with this axis. And now let's dimension this line from here to the first one we drew, and then we'll hit up. Then I'm going to say, okay, let's make this one equal to this one, and then in the formula editor right here, times 2. Hit OK. Now let's zoom in on this thing a little bit, and let's see what we got here. So first off, again, I'm going to do some quick trims. I'm going to say I want to get rid of this, and this, and that, and that, 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 and that, that, oops, that, and notice I've lost some of my references on here, which is not good. But then I want to come over here and say I don't want that part of the line. Oh, yes, I do. I want that. Hit escape. Bring that back. Go to quick trim here, and let's say I don't want this one out of here and that one out of here. And now I'm going to come over here and say, okay, I will have to change this around here in a second. Okay, I shouldn't have taken that line out right in here. So let's go back. Hit escape. Z, 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 Z. It would be the first one I trimmed out. So let's go back in here again and say, well, I want to keep now this. I want to keep that part. And I want to now delete this off. Let's say here, there, and there. That, and that, and that, and that. And coming up into here, let's grab that little part right there. And then let's use the regular trim, and then extend, keep that, and keep that. Now notice that changed from a construction line into a standard line. When you use that trim, it's going to take the default of that value in here. Control Z, I did not want to do that. Grab the long point, I'll grab this then to there. Now, through my trims, I lost some of my sizing here. So let's pull these values in here a little bit so they're easier to see. Okay, I'm going to pull this over so it's over here in the blue area, easier to see. And this one over here in the same general location, maybe out there. Now again, I want to put some constraints on. I want to go then from here to there, give that value. Then from there to there and give that value. And say then that this one is going to be equal to this one. Get a form editor here. Times 2. Hit OK. Now we look at this thing here. It looks kind of like figure 4.97. Let's exit out of the sketcher, see if there's anything wrong with it. It's totally green except for the. Well, let's make an extrusion out of this, or a pad. And that depth is, let's see here, length of 0.375. 0.375. Enter. There we have that feature. Okay, so now let's add the hole, as in step 62. Okay, on page 129. So again, hole command, going from here, placing this surface. Then you want to get in a position to sketch. Now notice that that part right here shows the center point of the hole is white. So if I come over here and grab that point, and I grab the axis of that cylinder by its surface, then I can make this coincidental. So now it's always going to follow the center of wherever this cylinder goes. And then the diameter of it is, let's see here. I don't know, what is the diameter of this thing here? 1. So this is a diameter of 1. Make it 1. Let's preview it. It looks okay. Now you have that hole in here. Okay. Now again, I'm going to do things a little bit different on the last 2 holes. If I can get this thing turned around here, that is. So first off, I'm going to place a hole right in this area, and looking at figure 4.99. So again, I'm going to use the hole command. Place the hole right in here, so it's on that plane. The size of the hole is 0.25. Its depth is 0.375. Now I need to locate it, so I need to come over here, and I'm going to go back into this isometric viewpoint, grab my constraint. I want to say from here to here, and then from here back to there. We'll get some values here in a second. And again, the one from inside, from outside going in is 0.875. And then this one here is a formula if you look at 4.99. So again, I'm going to grab one of this and double click it. I'm going to equal. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this part here. And I'm looking for the size of this surface right in here. So it's 0.75. So I'm going to grab that one. Notice it comes in here plus 0.75. Well, I want to divide that by 2. So divide that value by 2. And now notice that hole is going to be now centered on this thing based on that size by going in here, clicking in that, picking that surface, getting that size, exit back out of the sketcher. Hit OK. We have the hole placed in there. And again, it shouldn't go all the way through. Now what I'm doing in the last one, make a rectangular pattern. So again, I'm going to grab this hole. And I'm going to make a rectangular pattern. And I'll say my direction by the reference element is going to be here. And then I want to reverse the direction because I want to go the other way. And the diameter, or the spacing, is to be 4.25. Okay, not 285, but 4.25. Let's preview it. Goes over there, hit OK. And there we have that entire vise completed. So put it in this view here. Name your features on your specification tree. Save the file. Okay, so I'm going to go File, in my case Save As. And I want to go then to this account here. So bear with me while I save it. So make sure you save it where you want it to be saved. In this case, I'm going to go 163. I'm going to go to Curriculum. I'm going to go to Assignments. I'm going to go to CAD Assignments. And then this is going to be the vice job. So I'm going to save that thing right here. We have it saved. Okay. So that will take care of the vice job. I hope this has been of some assistance. It's taken me about an hour once I stumbled around here, but we'll get this thing done, and you guys have a good day, night, or evening. Take care. Be safe. Bye-bye.